Australia is building a $125 billion mega railway. Have you heard about the massive railway mega project happening in Australia? The city of Melbourne is constructing a gigantic new metro system costing $125 billion. This enormous investment aims to totally transform the city's public transportation for generations ahead. But why does Melbourne require such a huge metro expansion? How will they build it? And what will this futuristic railway look like when it's finished? Well, grab some popcorn because we're diving into this epic transit vision. Why Melbourne needs a major metro overhaul. To understand this incredibly ambitious railway plan, we first have to look at how Melbourne grew over time. With around 5 million people, Melbourne is Australia's biggest city. But here's the thing, Melbourne's current train system was designed ages ago for a much smaller city. It no longer matches today's massive metropolis. Back in the 1950s, Melbourne was centered on a small downtown grid of offices and shops. Suburbs fanned out around this central business district full of middle-class families and workers. Makes total sense, right? So transit engineers built rail lines shooting out from downtown to serve the burbs. This old system worked fine when Melbourne still had that compact central core, but the city has expanded enormously since then. The urban landscape has ballooned outwards, with new neighborhoods spreading across the metro area. Folks now live, work, and chill all over, not just downtown. The city keeps growing bigger each year, yet the old-fashioned railway hasn't adapted. It still uses the outdated hub-and-spoke design focused on the central core. Trying to travel between two non-downtown spots means an annoyingly indirect ride into the city and back out again. No wonder everyone drives. The bottom line is, Melbourne has outgrown its retro metro setup. This booming city desperately requires a web of interconnected lines, like those in modern cities, such as Moscow, Tokyo, and London. That's why planners proposed a full-scale, long-term railway transformation. The goal is to completely reinvent Melbourne's transit system for the realities of a massive 21st century metro hub, building a metro for the next 100 years. Okay, so it's clear Melbourne desperately needs a modern metro rail network upgrade. But this is no ordinary infrastructure project or routine system enhancement. This is a massively ambitious and visionary mega project that goes way beyond a basic revamp or two. What Melbourne has proposed is a far-reaching, multi-generational overhaul that will totally transform how Australia's second-largest city functions over many decades to come. We're talking about reimagining and reshaping Melbourne on an epically monumental scale. The full plan is titled the Suburban Rail Loop. 90 kilometers, about 56 miles, of fully grade-separated metro line that will completely circle the city outskirts. And the jaw-dropping price tag to build it? A whopping 125 billion Australian dollars, making it undisputedly one of the largest and most expensive infrastructure projects in modern human history. And if you can believe it, constructing the full loop from start to finish will incredibly take over 60 years to complete. That's right, engineers are literally building a metro system meant to serve not just today's population, but generations of Melbournians living a century into the future. Now that's some truly long-term thinking and planning on a massive level. Work is already starting, but being built out in multiple phases. The first section of tracks and stations are slated to open in 2035, connecting Melbourne's southeastern suburban sprawl to the airport region. And just constructing this initial segment alone will cost $33 billion. Following that, from 2043 to 2053, the loop extends north and south to various inner suburbs. Finally, the entire envisioned 90-kilometer circle completely enclosing Greater Melbourne and its suburbs will be finished by the year 2084. Bit by bit, small section by small section, the suburban rail loop will gradually and methodically loop itself around the city over many decades to come. When finally complete, it will utterly redefine transit connectivity and unlock new urban development in Melbourne throughout the 2100s and way beyond. This is infrastructure planning and vision of an almost unimaginable epic scale, digging beneath downtown. Now, before construction can even begin on the massive suburban rail loop encircling Melbourne's outer suburbs, the city must first tackle and untangle a major traffic bottleneck and congestion snarl in the aging central core downtown area. You see, the current and outdated metro rail design inefficiently funnels all trains from each and every line together through the chronically jammed packed central loop corridors. This creates severe platform congestion and seriously limits overall system capacity and train frequency across the entire metro network. To finally remedy this downtown dilemma after years of debates, engineers proposed constructing a new underground metro rail expressway to bypass the central core known as the Metro Tunnel Project. This crucial $10 billion endeavor will tunnel out 9 kilometers, or about 6 miles, of brand new track, creating a fresh set of twin tunnels with 5 entirely new underground stations, situated 30 meters beneath some of Melbourne's oldest central neighborhoods and districts. This metro tunnel will finally directly link and connect the southeastern and northwestern portions of the city proper by rail for the first time. This allows for far more convenient crosstown train journeys without rides needing to pass through or get bogged down traversing the perpetually clogged and crowded Central Loop corridors. In turn, the metro tunnel will massively and dramatically boost core capacity for running significantly more train lines and services through the center of the city. This extra capacity will be absolutely critical in supporting the massive suburban rail loop still to come. However, constructing this complex tunneling system beneath the densely developed downtown posed truly monumental technical challenges. Initial plans even included fully digging up some of the city's most iconic and popular central streets for years of nearly unbearable traffic chaos and construction mayhem. But faced with intense public backlash, engineers went back and found some clever workarounds. By carefully optimizing the positioning of the tunnel entry portals and underground station entrances, they could carefully thread the twin tunnels beneath existing key sites and landmarks, with minimal disruption at the surface. Only selected buildings and structures along the tunneling path that were fully in the way needed to be demolished. Drilling the nearly 6 miles of massive parallel tunnels required 4 colossal state-of-the-art tunnel boring machines, constantly grinding away beneath busy inner-city streets, buildings, and skyscrapers, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This complex endeavor was tedious, but it crucially prevented widespread chaos and disruption to life in the CBD. With this downtown bottleneck finally cleared, the Metro Tunnel is on track to open by September 2024. Completely revolutionizing inner-city travel. It establishes the vital foundations for the decades-long suburban rail loop transformation still to come. Australia's railway to the future. There you have it. With a suburban rail loop and metro tunnel projects now underway, Melbourne is actively pursuing a remarkably visionary metro system makeover. This sweeping modernization effort will completely transform and massively upgrade public transit across Australia's second-largest city over the course of the entire 21st century. Unlike most cities that take cautious, small-scale approaches to infrastructure, focused on modest projects that show visible results before the next election cycle, Melbourne is thinking bigger and bolder. This metro mega project provides a long-range blueprint, building a rail network meant to serve generations of commuters 100 years into the future. The sheer scale of investment required is staggering, 125 billion Australian dollars when fully completed. But effective, resilient metro networks cannot be built overnight. They require visionary leadership and a willingness to constructively build transportation infrastructure for future populations, not just today's commuters. The Metro Tunnel and other projects now underway are laying this vital foundation. Critics argue that the epic costs and long timelines inherent to this bold vision are unrealistic and perhaps unachievable. However, infrastructure inherently shapes city development, growth, culture, and competitiveness over decades, not years. This particular mega project aims to keep Melbourne sustainably world-class, green, and accessible far into the 2100s. So consider this your insider's preview of Australia's hugely ambitious unfolding railway master plan. It's a long-range blueprint filled with massive potential beyond what most cities ever dare to dream. The full 90 kilometers suburban loop may seem impossibly far off, but they are literally building a metro for the next century. Perhaps by 2084, we'll all get to ride this high-speed, high-tech metro as it elegantly and efficiently circles across the Melbourne skyline. For now, engineers are busily tunneling and laying new track, working to reinvent Australia's second city one section at a time. Well, that's all for today. Let us know in the comments if you think this mega project is worth the investment. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay up to date on all our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.